Good afternoon guys, this is the second vlog of today. Where we've just been will pretty much blow a lot of things away. It comes as a bit of a shock finding an abandoned cannabis grow house, farm, factory, etc. Was obviously, I would turn around and say it was used for maybe moving illegals about around the country because of the amount of clothing that was dumped upstairs. It just come across that way. But anyway, this was the main reason for today. We're here. Paul had never been to Leighton Buzzard, so I brought Paul to Leighton Buzzard. We're here starting off at the All Saints Church, or actually not quite. We've already been somewhere I'm just about to show you now, which is an abandoned, no one had been entered into it for about 50 years, abandoned school for cripples. You can't even use the terminology now, that's how old it was. But no one had stepped foot in it for 50 years. And we've just done a little bit of a walk around there, do a bit of weeding to get in, but we've got in there. So that's at the start of this video. And we now find ourselves here at the All Saints Church. I will tell you the story about I've told it before, it's about two people that they believe were witches, so they went to float them in a local pond. And then from there we're going to the main reason we wanted to come here. Paul wanted to visit this specific shop called the Raven Broomstick. I've been there before with Rachel. He wanted to see, it's full of all Wiccan memorabilia and it's really quite cool. But anyway guys, let's go and do this. First up on our tour today is this rather small cottage that has been abandoned and left for time for at least maybe 70-80 years. Nobody has actually even entered this place for over 50 years. We're not even going to bother trying to gain access because of the state of the place. The roof looks like it's ready to collapse. But yeah, it was, the woman's name was Mary Bassett. This was a school for cripples. It just turns around and says how old it is. You can't even use the terminology now, but this goes back to the 1800s, early 1900s. The vine creepers have grabbed hold of it, ripped it to shreds. But it's a truly fascinating place. Some history here that has just slowly been unearthed. And this is where we start today's vlog. The idea of today, obviously we've just done that little bit of a bonus vlog, if you've seen the one previous to this, being the cannabis factory, people smuggling place. Our main reason for coming down here is to go to the Raven and Broomstick, which is a Wiccan shop, and look at the Victorian graveyard. But this, I just had to come past and show you this, guys. It's remarkable that it's just been left abandoned next to, I believe it's an old static travellers site. We've myself and my father used to park by the petrol station just adjacent to this years ago. We never knew this was here. It's only the roof that gives you any remnants of it nowadays. How tiny and quaint is that? This is going to be one of those save it for another day till the bracken has truly died off. But just look at them vine creepers slowly grabbing hold. A little weird chimney at the top there. My curiosity got the better of me, so I've crept my way up to the window just to stick the camera in. It's pretty much all I can do really. But that is the inside of the place. Not a lot left, that's for sure. Weird area this, by the side of the, I guess that's the River Ouse. Looks like munitions boxes. It's dumped by the side of the river. Really weird. So basically all that messing about, and we could have walked around the other side and made our way in. But wow, it's just like an old comes across as being like an old shed. I don't know whether them plaques turn around and say anything. Maybe an old garage store, etc. But this was, as I said, originally an old school for cripples. I filmed down this way before, but the creepy vibes that just this little walkway gives off to you. It's just an area where they stack wood, but even so, next to a graveyard, certainly sends the shivers down your spine. We have some old gravestones, tombs, etc. used as paving, which I always find very bizarre, but this isn't the only place that's done them. We'll make our way down. You can see by, if you're watching from wherever in the world, you can see the dates here, 1792. Think of what happened in your country around that time for your history lessons, and you find yourself, wow, it's an old graveyard. Okay guys, the story I wanted to tell you about was of two significant ladies, Catherine Hanks and Jane Massey. I think it was 1751, and for some reason, maybe Catholicism, etc., who knows, but in that time period people had a real misunderstanding of the dark arts, witchcraft, etc. We're living in scary times. It's Plantagenet era. Edward III was on the throne, and the townfolk of Leighton Buzzard took these two unfortunate women up to a pentagonal cross in the town centre and declared them as witches. So they decided they were going to drag them off to the stream or River Ouse, which runs through Leighton Buzzard, and float them. The idea of floating is basically they would dunk them, continuously dunk them in the water till they submit to their crimes and turn around and say, yes, we are witches, etc., or they drowned. Now, if they drowned, they obviously were not witches, but if they didn't drown, they were seen as witches, and then they were taken away to be hung. Now, as macabre as that seems, it's just sort of bizarre. It really is bizarre that your beliefs can be that we're going to try and drown you. If you drown, you're innocent. If you don't drown, you're guilty, and we'll kill you. Make of that what you will. But that was the times, unfortunately. So, I said, circa 1751. I think it's about 16 years after the abolishment of witchcraft trials and things in this country. I believe so. I might be wrong. We'll have to look into that. As I said, I'm just telling a story. So that's what the idea was. They were going to float them here. They found that the river was too shallow, so they decided to stick them on a wagon and drag them towards the Luton area, where they had a bigger river, bigger lake area where they could float them there. Two local gentry intervened and stopped it. The crowd dispersed and the women went on their way. But what a absolutely terrifying experience that must have been. And the story itself is on a plaque outside the Raven Broomstick. It's not a made up story, it's a true story. It factually happened. It's documented over Google, etc., and it's really worth a read. The All Saints Church, believed to be haunted. It is a truly beautiful and magnificent looking place. And it's further down here. I've said before when I've done this, it appears as if it's unkempt, but it's not. It's done like this naturally. It's got them vibes of Highgate. There's little pathways that are steadily mown about, so you can make your way through, and the rest of it is left like this deliberately. And it's tranquil, it's peaceful, and it's actually quite stunning when you get down to the Victorian era graves. This is the area down here, and you get the finely turned ironworks that are situated and surrounding the graves themselves. Reason for this, commonly known to keep out your grave robbers, etc. Your likes of your, obviously they were further north. Birkenhead were obviously Edinburgh, Scotland area. Hello, little squirrel over there. But yeah, this is what they've done throughout the country. These would have been hankered down to stop your likes of your grave robbers taking these, because there was a big aftermarket for them back in the day for body parts, where doctors learning their trade, surgeons, etc. would use the cadaver to gain their knowledge. Now this area here, and Paul was just saying, well, things growing through the graves. Look at this, trees actually growing through someone's tomb. Not that now, although these headstones depict someone that was buried, not so much a common thing nowadays, to be honest with you. Most people get cremated nowadays, but back in the day, burials were the thing. And I believe it's after a certain amount of years, maybe 10 or so, there's very little left of the body. The coffin is torn to shreds, and maybe the skull, I think it might be your fibia, the two main bones that were be remaining afterwards. Everything else is just pretty much perished away to nothing. There's certain ambience, certain beauty to these. They have obviously the spooky vibes, and people will turn around and say the unholy, the undead straight away, your likes of your vampires, etc., werewolves, witches. But I suppose that's just only natural. It goes hand in hand with these sort of destinations. I just find them tranquil and peaceful. Even the animals have made homes now. I'll let that church ring. Kind of perfect timing, apart from the scatty woman laughing in the background. Looks as if they come down here to get out of the way and have a few drinks, which I don't think is fitting for where we are. Okay, this is the alleyway. This is where Paul really wanted to go to, down to the Raven and Broomstick. So we're in the Raven and Broomstick now, and you can see all sorts of things from taxidermy animals, fish, etc., crows, ravens, little bunnies, squirrels, stoats, birds of prey. Truly is magical. I will be purchasing one of those because it's supposed to bring good luck. It's like a little bobbin with a little mouse on top of it. It's supposed to bring good luck, so yeah, one of those will be coming home with us. This place is a haven if you're into your readings of things, tarot, Ouija boards. They might perhaps even have a Book of the Dead.
These are only 50p, you can find a couple.
But it is a unique find, and the place, everywhere you look, there's something unique, different, quirky. Vampire blood. So these are your vampire hunting kits. So you've got your stake, your holy water, your cross, your mirror, your Bible. They're brilliantly put together. If you're into that sort of thing, this is the place to go and get one. That always reminds me of the Figment ride. You turn around, you pan the camera around and the butterfly in the cage disappears. It's full of amazing artefacts. It's one of these places I truly recommend you come and visit. It's only open, I believe it's Wednesday to Saturday. And the objects that you'll find in here, anything if you're interested in your Wickhamry, if you have a liking for your likes of wizardry and Harry Potter and stuff like that, you'll even find stuff like that in here. These will be your native Indians, the tomahawk. They are truly bizarre. Don't really try and hide the reflection so you can see these images as they go past. These are your medicinal stones and crystals, etc. All different colours have a different belief. I believe we got my sister one for, I think it was health. Unfortunately she's no longer with us, but for the period of time I believe she was well into it and it did ease some of her suffering. You truly have to believe for these things to work. And obviously, why not believe? What is the difference in believing in something like this as to believing something which is polar opposite on a different scale, which is your other type of Christianity, etc. Some jewels and pendants. I have a Ouija board there and a Hellraiser puzzle. So you can figure that and out comes the Hellraiser. Some weird ornaments. Medical dictionaries. It's all for your likes of bloodletting, etc. Some really bizarre old things. There's even teeth.
That come from here.
I think it's on sleep.
Syringes.
Strange.
Your unusual and bizarre medical devices.
Oh.
What half of these do, I really don't want to know, to be honest with you.
They're there because they...
A lot of your masks. Some of them are described as maybe possibly death masks. In here somewhere abouts also you have shrunken heads. There'll probably be more round to the front area. Witch's broom at the top there. There's your steampunk type hats. Ironically, because his name's Paul.
I get all different stuff.
Take care.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you very much, Lily. Okay, I shall finish the vlog in here. Okay guys, that's going to do it for today's vlog. I hope you've enjoyed this, and especially the one we done earlier. That was a bit bizarre. We're now in a bar, a beer for Paul because it's his 50th on Friday. So don't forget to like and subscribe to his channel. Give him a birthday wish if you can. And we will see you in the movies. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Bye for now.